So today the topic that we are going to see is constructor. Already we have learned how to create a class, how to create an object. What is when you create an object, what happens to the instance variable, and what will be the values for the instance variables, all that we have seen in the previous session, right? So today let us discuss about constructor. Okay, so let us see how actually the session is going to go. First, let us understand the concept. What is the purpose of a constructor? And then we will do a program, that is with a small example. While doing the example, we'll see what are all the different use cases that you will be using while working with the constructor. People who have already learned about constructor, you may feel that you have known this already, but there are certain places where certain nuances you need to know. So stay tuned. Once we have done this, we will move on to a Q&A session or a quiz session where I will ask questions in constructor, class and objects. Maybe you can answer it using the chat window. Fine. So this is about the webinar session today. So see, constructor basically is a very simple topic. Today, let us just discuss about what is a constructor, what is the purpose of a constructor. Okay. So now let us get started. First, we will understand it. Okay, guys, what is a constructor? You all would have learned a constructor is used to initialize the instance variable. Now, assume I'm having a class employee. In this employee class, I am having just one instance variable, string name. Okay. Now I want to create an object. So what we will do, we have to go in for public static void main. So let me create public static void main, string args. Remember, you need to add that string args. Now I have to create an object. So how do I create an object? Class name employee. Don't use E or something, just give the full name. Equal to new. How do you create? See, employee. What is this? This is just a reference pointing to an employee object. How do you create an employee object? New employee. Correct. The moment you give this, automatically the compiler will go in search of a constructor. What is a constructor? A constructor is used to initialize the instance variables. Did we create any constructor in this class? No. So if we have not created any constructor, the compiler will generate a default constructor. How the default constructor will look like? That is, it is with public class name. The constructor starts with the class name, with or without parameters. Because this is a default constructor, it will not have any parameters. And within this, the compiler will introduce a keyword called a super. Okay. So now what is happening? You have created a constructor. The compiler has created a constructor. Within the constructor, the compiler has introduced a super keyword. Can you understand what I'm saying? Within the constructor, it has introduced super keyword. What is the purpose of the super keyword? Let me explain this with a simple example. I have a class employee, the same example only. I don't want to mess up there. So here I'm just giving it class employee.
Mute them, please.
Guys, please mute your mics. So here I'm having PSVM with string arguments. Okay. Guys, remember to add string args. String args with square bracket. Okay. Now within which I'm creating an employee object. Employee is equal to new employee. This is what we have seen. Now from here, what it is doing, it is going in search of a constructor and the compiler is introducing it, right? Now in this case, what is happening? We have gone here. Now the compiler has introduced a constructor, public employee, within which you are having automatically the compiler will only add super keyword. What is the meaning of the super keyword? Whatever classes you are creating, they are all having a super class. What is the super class of employee? The super class of employee is object class. This is the top level class for all the classes. This is an inbuilt class. This is from java.lang package. This is my object class. So the moment you give super, automatically what will happen is, so what is the flow of this application? Now let us understand. When you run this application, first the JVM will enter into this line. First, what it will do? It will go in search of employee. It will create a reference equal to new employee. It will go in search of a constructor. Who has created the constructor? The compiler already has created a constructor because you have not created anything. So there is a super keyword which is added. So what is the meaning of it? JVM will understand, okay, fine, I have to go to the super class of employee. That is, I need to go to the constructor of the super class of employee. What is the super class of employee? Object. So from here, it will go in search of object class constructor. This we don't have to bother about it because it's an what is this? This is a class of Java API. We don't have to bother about it. After going here, all the instance variable be initialized to null. Then it will come back to the same path. So technically, if you notice, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3. Then again, it will come back to this line. Now, can you guys tell me what will be the output of employee.name? Already I have created string name, right? What will be the value of employee.name? I am trying to print employee.name. Any guess? Guys? Anybody?
Default value which is given by the compiler.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. See, guys, again, I will repeat. I have given new employee. Let me remove all the annotations once more. This is what is my code. Now, the moment you run it, what happens? The moment you compile it, first the compiler will add public employee. This is added by the compiler. We have not added it. Okay, that's why I have added it in a different color. This will introduce super keyword. What is the purpose of super? The moment you give super, it will go to the super class of this particular class. The super class of employee is object. So automatically it will go to object class object. And it will go in search of an object class constructor. Because we are not having any parameters. So it will search for a default constructor in the object class. Okay. Now this is done. The moment you compile it, this is created, the setup is ready. Now you are running your application. So the moment you run your application, JVM will get an entry into this particular line, in this line. Now it is saying first create a reference. The reference points to the employee object. The moment it sees this, it will go in search of a constructor without any parameters. So where it will come? It will come to this place. So this is point 1. Okay, yeah, I forgot to add. We are having string name as instance variable, right? Now after this, you have given super of. So it has to go to the super class constructor. Guys, whether you like it or not, from your class, it will go always go to the super class. So it is going to the super class. That is point 2. Now in this case, all your instance variables will be initialized to the default value. If it is name, it will be null. If it is a float value, it will be 0.0f. If it is boolean, it will be false. Now after initializing it, it will come back to the same place. Next line. Here, you have not done any code. So from here, it will come again back to the line next to this. So it will come to this line. Here you are trying to print employee.name. Now what will happen? Employee.name will be null because we have not created any constructor. We have not initialized it. So automatically the value will be null. It will take the default value of that particular data type. I hope it is clear. Now we will see this first example. Okay. Now, as usual, let us create a new. Already this is there, but the few people have joined a new. So let us create a new Java project. File, new Java project. So let me give the name as demo project. Guys, this is Eclipse. You need to download it from the net. In the previous webinars, I have shown how to download it and select the appropriate version of Eclipse. And you have to create a workspace. So this is a workspace which I have created. Within the workspace, I am creating my project. And because I have downloaded and I'm having Java SC17, it is taking that. If you want to go in for a lower version, you can select that and you can go in for that. Okay. Now the rest of the things are all same. Click finish. Now in this, in SRC is a folder within which you have to create a package. Inside the package only you need to create a class. That I have already explained in webinar 1. Now still let us create it. Select SRC, right click, new class. Okay. I'll go with, this is a different project, so I'll go with the same employee, same example what we have given. So let me create a package, com.sristi.training. What are they? Though we are giving the name as package, but technically these are folders. Com is a folder, Shristi is a folder, training is a folder, under which you are creating a class. The class name is employee. The class is public because we have selected public. You can have only public and package. Package means if you don't add anything in front of the class. Access specifier. What is the super class of employee? Object class. This is from java.lang package. So I want to select public static void main, click finish. Okay. Now in this, let us add string name. Now here, let me create the employee object. Employee is equal to new employee. Now I have not added anything. I have not created any constructor also. In the next line, let me try to print it. For printing, it is system.out.println. The shortcut is SYSO control space. Automatically, it will create the println statement. Employee dot name. Okay, guys, whatever we are seeing, these are very raw. I am just showing you the basics. When you are learning, going forward, you will understand how to call it. You will never call it like this. You will be going for a parameterized constructor, something like that. Okay, or you will be using getter setter methods. Now let us run this. Save it. Let me run this. It is printing null. Okay, one thing I will just tell you, actually, like I can just debug and show what is the flow of this application. Let me just give a breakpoint. What is the meaning of debugging? If some error occurs, I want to know where exactly the error is occurring. So for that, you just give breakpoints. I have given double click on it, it will give a dot. Next line also, let me give double click. Now, instead of running the application, I'm going to debug it. Can you see debug employee? What is the purpose now I am doing is, I want to know what is the flow of my application, where it starts, to which place it goes, what is the error. So it is easy for me to know where exactly, excuse me, where exactly the exception is there or where exactly I have made mistake. So now how to debug it? Select your file, right click, run as, debuggers. Can you see? There is a bug symbol, debuggers Java application. Automatically it will ask you to open the debug perspective. It is not required for you to know debugging in detail, but going forward, if you are going to do Java full stack, then you have to know how to do a debugging, because usually Java developers will not work on their project. They will be working on a group of different classes created by different people. Getting it? So you should know how to do debugging. Here, why I am showing you how to do debugging is just to see the flow, what exactly is happening. Click switch. It will open multiple places. Okay, see, when you run the application, what is the first thing that it is entering? It's entering into the main class. Can you see? It is entering into thread main. So this is the place it is in. Now my line, actually, because you have given a breakpoint, it is stopped. Just like how your bus is stopping, it has stopped. It is waiting for you to provide the next action. See the console, it is in the bottom. And whatever values you are giving it, everything will come over here. Now it is showing, pointing to the first line. Now what I want, I have to go into this particular constructor. But actually we have not created the constructor. Who has created it? The compiler has created it. It is not known to us. So now you can see few symbols over here. Can you see? Step into means go into that particular method. Step over, very simple. Just jump. Like you are just going to leave that and move on to the next line. Getting it? And there is also step return. If I have gone to some method, I have to return and come back to the place from where I was called. Like from A, I have gone to B means Again, if I give step return from B, I have to come back to A. That is the meaning. Now, in this case, I will give step into. So, see what it is doing. It is entering into employee constructor. Did we create it? No. The compiler has created it. See the pointer, it is pointing here. Can you understand? We have not created it. The compiler has created. Now again, purposefully, I have entered into the constructor. So let me just give step over. Sorry, 1 minute. Step into. Oh my God. Sorry, wait here. Let me terminate it. Terminate and relaunch. Now it has come again. Step into. Again, step into. Now see. From employee, it is going to the object class constructor. Because super is without any parameters, it is going to the super class object. It is going into the constructor of the object class without any parameters. Now I am in object class. I have to come back to employee. Employee is like A, object is like B. How to come back? So I need to give step return. So it's coming back to the same place. Okay, now I can just go back to the next line. I have completed this, so I need to go back to come to this particular line. So see the value here. This is employee. The value is null. Already it is initialized. I have not even gone to the constructor. It is already initialized by the object class. So it will initialize all the instance variables to the default values. Now again, next, I will just give step over. Step over. I don't want to go into this line again. I'll give step over. Jump and come out to the next line. Step over. Now see, it's printing the value. So I want to print it. Okay. If you give step over, I will get the output here. Step over, null. If I give step into, it will enter into println statement. I have given step over, so it is printing null. I hope it is clear. So what is happening? If you have not created any constructor, automatically the compiler will generate a default constructor. Now let us see what if I am having a constructor. So guys, you are going to tell me the output for this. Class employee, string name. I have created a constructor, public employee, name equal to Shri. Curly braces. I am closing this. Okay. Now we'll have public static void main in the same class itself. Usually I don't prefer to have it in the same class. I prefer to close this class like this. I always go in for a separate class for public static void main. Why? Because public static void main is like a calling class. This is like a working class. But the class that is going to have public static void main is responsible for calling other classes to do the functionality. So it is like a receptionist, or it is like what? A supervisor. So let us create a main class. So here, let me have class main. Allow public static void main. String args. Now, within this, I'm going to create an employee object. Employee is equal to new employee. Here also I'm going for a default constructor and I'm trying to print employee dot name. Now, which class should I run? I have got two classes in my application. Which one will I run? Yes?
Main class.
Very good. Always you should run main class. So what will be the flow of this application this time? Now, what it will do is first it will enter into the main class. The JVM, when you run this application, it will get an entry into the main class. You are creating a reference to employee. From here, it will jump to employee. You are calling the employee constructor. It will enter into the employee constructor. Guys, here I have added name equal to Shri. But what the compiler will do, it will introduce one extra line, super. So what is the flow again? From here, it will go to the super class. In the object class, name will be, so from here to go to object class. In the object class, the value will be initialized again to null. Then come back. Now the name is initialized to Sri. So then after completing this, where it will come? It will come to this place. So what is the flow? This is number one.
Ma'am, why main class?
Why main class in the sense? Oh, which one you have to run your, that is what you're asking?
Yes, ma'am.
I am having two classes. So now how will I compile it? The moment I say both the classes will be compiled. Now how will I run my application? JVM should get an entry into my application. What is the method to get an entry into the application? That is public static void main. It expects a method which is having public static void main string args. So I am having this method in this class, so I can run it. Okay, next question. Can I have public static void main in my employee class itself? Of course, yes, you can have it. You can have public static void main here itself. But remember, always, whatever work functionality you are doing, everything is in the backend. It is hidden, okay? Whatever I want to expose to the client, that I will write it in the main class. Main class from main class. See, when you go to a hospital, you cannot meet the doctors directly. There will be somebody who is sitting there. They will get your details. Then they will send your details to the backend, and then they will get the clarity and it will come back to you. Same is the case over here. This class can be anything. You can give any name. You can give class demo, class trial, class main, whatever name you want, you can just give it. But what I am trying to tell is this class is going to be the working class. This class is the calling class. What I have seen is freshers, what they do is in one single class, they have done calculator program. So many nice applications they have done. It is not the correct approach. What you have to do, you have to separate the functionality. In this, the backend, in this place only all the functionality should be done. This is the class which will be the calling class. Okay, what is the process? Number one, creating an employee object. Then number two, this is two, entering into the employee constructor. From here, 3, it will go to the object class. Initialize the instance variable to null. Then after that, after initializing it to Shri, so from there, here it is coming here, 4. This is 5. This is the flow of your application. Can I have more than one constructor? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. We can
Yes.
have.
You can have more than one constructor. Now let us see it directly. I will show it from the code. So this time, I'm going to create a constructor, public employee string name. Oh, sorry, I didn't give, sorry. Public employee name equal to Shri. I have not introduced super. Automatically, it will be introduced by the compiler. Okay, now let me stop debugging. I'll close this. Now let me run this application. Now here I have got the output as Shri. This is okay, fine. Now what if I'm creating the next employee object? For this employee object, I want the value to be Priya. What should I do? See, what will be the flow? What will be the output for both of these objects? What will happen here? Same.
Sri.
Yeah, very good. Same. Why? What will happen? From here, go to this constructor, initialize name to Shri. Again, come back, print it to Shri. Again, from here, go to the same constructor because the parameters match. So what should I do? I want different values. So what should I do?
Give a parameter.
Yeah, very good. So I can go in for parameterized constructor. So what I can do is, let me create one more constructor. So remember, what is the purpose of a constructor? A constructor is used to initialize the instance variable. Then how will you, what is the syntax for a constructor? Class name followed by parenthesis. The constructor will
And
not
string
have
name.
any. Yes?
String name, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, correct. So here I can pass string name. Okay, string n, I have given it. So how will I initialize it now? For this instance variable name, I want to assign the value that is coming from the constructor. So what I can do here, I can pass Priya. I hope you all can understand. I have given new employee of Priya. So what it is a string. This value, so what it will do? The compiler will go and check whether you have created a constructor. Yeah, you have created a constructor. So the compiler will not generate any constructor. The application will work perfectly fine. Now the next step is the JVM has to run. So when you run it, JVM will come to this line. It will go to this constructor, initialize name to Shri, come back and it will print name as Shri. Now next, you are calling a parameterized constructor by passing Priya. Now if I do not have any constructor like that, if I don't have a matching constructor, I will get compiler error. Technically, this is called as, this is a part of constructor overloading. What is constructor overloading? I am overloading the constructor with 0 to any number of parameters. Here, I don't have a matching constructor, so I am getting compiler error. That is why it's called as constructor overloading, is also called as compile time polymorphism. Now, what we will do, we need a matching constructor. So I have created a matching constructor. Now, the moment you add Priya, N is initialized to Priya. So for this name, I can initialize N. Correct? Now, when I run this, it's going to run perfectly fine. Right? But remember, we will never give any hard-coded. Hard-coded means directly giving the values is not correct. Means when you are going to the bank, you want to withdraw 10,000. It is not written as, okay, Sai will withdraw 10,000 in the back end, right? They will not write it. You have to assign the value. When whatever value you are assigning, based on that, the logic has to be performed. So we will not use this. Instead, we can go in for a parameterized constructor. So I don't need a default constructor. Let me use a parameterized constructor. Here, let me pass Shri. So in the first case, Shri will be initialized to name. In the second object, Priya will be initialized to name.
Priya.
Now, yeah. Now, can I have the same? I hope it is clear for everybody. I can have any number of constructors. Suppose, say, I'm having double salary and string city. Okay. Now, this is one constructor I am having. Now, I want to create one more constructor. Well, how I can create it? I cannot have the same parameters. I should have different number of parameters. Because this is constructor overloading. Okay. Now, I have given name is equal to N. City equal to city. Purposefully, I am giving it. See, the instance variable name and this variable name is also same. Now, let us see what will happen. So for the first object, I am passing only the name Shri. So automatically it will be initialized. It will work perfectly fine. For the second object, I want to use this particular constructor. So I am using Priya, comma, Bangalore. Okay, now what will happen? So here I am trying to print name. Let me print city also. Employee1.city. Guys, I hope it is clear. For this one, where it is going? It is going to this constructor, first constructor. For the second one, it is going to the second constructor. In this case, I have given the instance variable name and this local variable name same. So what will happen? Any guess? Anybody? Any guess?
We should use this dot city.
It will
Priya,
print, ma'am.
Bangalore.
Okay, very
Priya
good.
Bangalore.
Yeah, very good. How it will come Priya Bangalore? Let us see. See here. First, let us see the flow. 1 minute. First, let us see the flow. Guys, you have to be very, very clear with the flow. First, from here, it will go to this constructor. Here, you have not added super keyword. The compiler will introduce super keyword. It will go to object class. Then now the value of name will be null. Salary will be 0.0. City will be null. It will come to the same place. Now, name is initialized to what? Shri. And from this line, it will come back to the next line. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Now the output here will be Shri. I hope it is clear till this part. Okay, now the same thing we will think for the second one. For this, in this case, it will go in search of a constructor which is having 2 parameters. So it will enter here. Now, what will be the value of N? It is Priya. What is the value of city? It is Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Yeah. Now, what I am saying, for this instance variable name, assign the local variable name N. So, name will be assigned to Priya. Now, what actually I am telling the compiler? For this instance variable city, assign the local variable value city. But what JVM will do, for this local variable city, it will assign the value Bangalore. That is self-assigning. I hope you can understand. Always local variables have higher priority than the instance variable. So what will be the value? To this city itself, you are assigning Bangalore. So what will be the value of city now? Any guess?
Bangalore.
Nana. For this local variable city, it is Bangalore. What about the instance variable value?
It's the default
Null.
null value.
Very good. It will take the default value. Why? Because before going here, it will again, as usual, go to the super class, right? Super of is introduced. It will go to the object class. In the object class, name will be null, salary will be 0.0, city will be null. Then after that, after it is coming back from there, name equal to Priya. City equal to, actually for not for this city, for this city, I am assigning Bangalore. Oh, so this variable is not initialized at all. So now let us run and see the output. You will get an idea. Now let me run it. For the first one, it is Shri. For the second one, it is Priya and null. Why? City is null. City is not initialized at all. So what should I do? Now I have to explicitly inform the JVM. See, please, you initialize these instance variables, not the local variable. For that, to make it understand, we are going to use a keyword called as this. What is the meaning of this? This refers to the current object. So now what I can write? This dot city. It means for this instance variable city, this means current object. For the current object city, assign the local variable city. Getting it? So this also I can change it. The first one also I can change it. I can change it as name. For the current object's name, assign the local variable name. This is how you have to write it. This is the proper way of writing the code. This is how a constructor has to look like. Now let me save it and let me run it again. Now can you see the output? It is giving properly. Okay, now I want to have one more constructor. So can I have one other constructor in this way? Like string city, first city and then name. What is the criteria for overloading? Either the number of parameters or the data type of the parameter should be same. Sorry, should be different. But in this case, I have got, this is one parameter, this is two parameters, okay, different. But in this case, the number of parameters and also the data type is same. So that is why it's giving me a compiler error. Can you understand? Instead of city, even if you give a different variable name also, it is the same. Instead of this, if I am having it as double salary, then the error is gone. Okay, so here I should give salary. So what is this? This is called as actually constructor overloading. A class can have any number of parameters. Sorry, a class can have any number of constructors. In case of having multiple constructors, either the number of parameters or the data type of the parameter should be different. So here we have created 3 constructors. Now one more question. Is it mandatory that I have created a third constructor? I should create an object? No, not at all required. I am giving you different opportunities. You can create an employee object with name alone. You can create an employee object with name and city. You can create an employee object with city and salary. In this case, name will be null. You can also create an employee object with string name, comma string city, comma double salary. So for all this, they have given a content assist also for you guys. Go to source. Can you see generate constructor using fields? What are fields? They are nothing but instance variables. So you can pick and choose what are the instance variables you want and you can generate a constructor. That's how it is. So I want to create a new constructor with name, salary and city. So I can give that. Click generate. Now see how nicely it has created the constructor. Name, salary and city, automatically it is using this keyword. And can you see it is also introducing a super keyword. It is not required when you are writing the code. Because this is a content assist, automatically it is added together with the template. It is not mandatory. Whether you write it or not, it will go to the super class. Okay. Now I have not created any employee object matching this particular constructor. It is not required at all. The reason being, I am giving you many options. You pick and choose any of the constructor to create your employee object. Yeah? Okay. Any doubt, any questions till this?
No.
Yeah? So now what are the things that you have to know in case of a constructor? What is the purpose of a constructor? A constructor is used to initialize the instance variables. If you have not created any constructor, the compiler will generate a constructor with super keyword. And the syntax for the constructor is the class name. The constructor cannot have any return type. The constructor can be with or without any number of parameters. A class can have more than one constructor. Fine? Okay. Shall we proceed? Now, a few questions let me ask. Now, what will happen in this case? What will happen in this case?
It will throw an error, ma'am.
Very good. Compiler error. Why? Because you have not created a constructor. The compiler is generating, but it is generating only a default constructor. So it will give me an error. Correct? See the same scenario. I'll show it over here also. I don't have any constructor, but I'm trying to pass parameters. It is giving me an error. Okay. Now, next one more question. Assume I have got a constructor. This dot. Okay, now what will happen in this case? Will it give me an error or will this work perfectly fine?
It will work, ma'am.
Why?
It will work.
Why and how? I'm passing int value.
Typecasting.
Very good, excellent. So we have passed 10. Already we have learned about the concept of typecasting. Because you are passing 10, 10 is of int data type. You are having a constructor which is taking double as parameter. During the compile time itself, it will check if there is a compatibility. If there is a compatibility, it will work perfectly fine. So this is also a concept of compile time polymorphism. It is checking, okay, whether I am having my pair. If my pair is available, I will map it to that. If my pair is not available, I'll try to upcast. If it is possible, then perfectly fine. If it is not, it will give a compiler error. As in, now, if I give int salary here, okay, I'm giving int salary. And here I'm trying to pass double. Now, in this case, what will happen? I'm passing double. So this time it will give a compiler error. We will see that. We will see that. Now, let us see. I will remove all this. I'll have only first one. Okay. Now, I have to pass salary alone. Let me remove all this. So how to generate a constructor? Go to source. I'm fed up of typing it, so I'll just write it. Go to source, generate constructor using fields, select only salary, click generate. So now I have got it. I don't need this line. Now in this case, let me pass 10. Will it work perfect? Work? Yes. Because this is int, automatically it will be upcasted to double. It is getting mapped. So it's not giving me any compiler error. See, this concept, technically, it is compile time polymorphism. During the compile time itself, it will try to map. If it is available, okay, perfectly fine. If it is not available, it will give you a compiler error. Now, the same thing, I'll change it over here. I'll change this to int. Here also, I'll change this to int. Okay. Now, while passing, let me pass 10.0. See, it's giving me a compiler error. But understand this. Suppose say this is written by some other person. Let us go in for a 2-class scenario. Let me create a new class. Class main. Main. Now in the employee class, I'll remove this. Now I hope you can see my screen. I've got employee class. I've got the main class. So which class will you run? You'll have to run only the main class. Even if you'll not have an option at all. See, runners. You don't have an option at all to run the employee class. So obviously you need to run the main class. You have to run the main class. From the main class, you can create an object of any other class and run it. Suppose I am having a student class. I can create an object of student class and I can run it. So anything is possible. Getting it? Okay. Now here I have passed 10.0. Remember, this is something like you are standing in front of the ATM. This is your bank application which is available in the backend. It is asking you to enter a number. You are entering a number, it is saying invalid. So what but you know that you don't know, like, okay, fine, this is asking a particular format, you really don't know. So you are giving it as 10.0. What modification should I do so that I will not get any compiler error? Any idea? Yes? Remember, this is written by some other guy. You don't have any connection with that. So
Extend keyword.
which one?
We can use extend keyword.
No. Now I will explain. I'll give the scenario clearly. Listen, this is written by some other person. Okay. Some other guy in your company has written this code. Now you are writing this code. You are asking the user to enter the value. The user doesn't know, he didn't know that he has to enter an int value. He is giving you only a double value. So now you have to take the value from the user and map it to the constructor which is available here. So how can you do this?
Automatic promotions.
That is upcasting. But here the user has given 10.0. So what should I do?
Downcasting.
Very good. So where? So here I can just go on downcast it like this. Now what will happen? Instead of going it as 10.0, the value after this will be truncated and it will go as 10 only. That's what. Clear? Listen, again I am repeating. Now I am writing this main class. Somebody has written the employee class. In the employee class, they have given the parameter as int. But when the user is passing, I am trying to get the value from the user. The user is passing a value with a double value. So I cannot go and modify this code because I have not written this code. I have to give the, see, listen, it is very simple here. Like you guys are all sitting and doing a work. Your friend is expecting a blue color paper, okay? But what the user is giving is, he is giving a different color paper, white color paper. You cannot pass on white color paper give it to your friend because he is expecting only a blue color paper. So what you have to do, dip it in blue color ink and you have to give the paper. That's it. So that modification, we are doing it over here. You can just downcast it to int. Add int in front of it. Already we have seen typecasting also. So we can just go through that. Yes. So this is all about constructors. Thank you all.